I was always in sales. So I knew a bit about renting, but I've been in sales for like 13 years.
When I was an estate agent, I only lasted about 3 months. It was hard.
Going from nice, comfortable income to zero was like, this has to work. Just going to one of your pound crash courses and talking about the comfort zone. I've been in that comfort zone for quite some time now. One property alone made £1,500 profit. As of January, we have 3 live, and we made over 4K profit. A minimum of 85 to 90% occupancy throughout the whole year. Two of my friends joined the academy. They absolutely love it.
Thanks for coming down on Winners on a Wednesday. I'm really interested to talk to you because you've got the background of a estate agency as well. So how did you transition from being an estate agent? At what point did you think, you know what, I want to start building my own portfolio?
It started with watching your videos on YouTube, actually. So it started with me just walking the dog, looking to try and create a second income, actually. I was really interested in Airbnb.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, right, how can I start this? Looking on YouTube, searching online, and you just kept popping up all the time.
Yeah, it happens. When you watch one video, then they suddenly all start popping up.
Yeah. So I remember, to this day, I was walking the dog and just kept watching all these different videos that you'd posted. And yeah, it just sort of opened my mind up. So, okay, well, there's a guy that's doing what I want to do. Let's go check it out. Tried to go to a crash course, and all the local ones to me, which were London, were all fully booked. And I was like, man, like, I need to get on one now. I can't wait like a few months. So I was like, right, I looked online. Leeds was like the next available one. So I literally just jumped in the car. It was like a week or two after I watched your videos, went straight to a crash course in Leeds. And then my eyes opened up big time in terms of, like, as an estate agent, you think you know a lot about property, but actually we don't know that much. We obviously know about buying and selling and renting, but in terms of like other strategies, there's a lot out there which most agents, including myself, we didn't actually know. I didn't know. Mm-hmm. After attending the crash course, my eyes opened to where I realized that you could potentially leave my job at some point and create a full-time income from all these different strategies. And rent to rent was, for me, the one that really stood out, where I could actually walk away from my job over time and replace my income that I currently have through rent to rent. And that's where it all started. And then, from there, went to your house, done the discovery day, and then joined the academy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what kind of estate agent were you then? Were you doing sales?
So I was always in sales. So I knew a bit about renting, but I've been in sales for like 13 years. I started off as a trainee negotiator.
Yeah, like me, I was a negotiator.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, but it's the best there is countrywide.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying, actually. Yeah, so started out literally like no sales experience at all, scared to even answer the phone. As time went on, started as a trainee negotiator, worked my way up to being sort of branch manager of the most successful estate agent in Luton at their head branch.
What branch is that?
The company's called Indigo Residential. Really successful company. They really train you properly how to do things correctly. A lot of agents, they overvalue houses a lot of the time on purpose to try and win business. And at this company, they really train you to do things correctly. And that was where the real skill was in the estate agency, where you go into people's houses and trying to convince them to win and choose you over the competition. Yeah. But actually to show to them, because a lot of time, most people think the house is worth more than what it generally is. Yeah. So there can be some really tough, I've been in some very tough conversations. I've walked out of some houses like, wow, that was really bad. Like I wasn't good there. But you grow and you learn from those experiences. And as time went on, I got pretty good at what I was doing. That really helped me to this point now, where I've gone from having no sales experience whatsoever, scared to answer the phone, to now then actually going to landlords' houses. It doesn't matter who they are, how many people are there, what size of property it is. I'm not concerned anymore. I know and trust and believe in what I'm doing. Having that sales experience helped me to get to this point today.
When I was an estate agent, because I worked for Bairstow Weaves countrywide, I remember I was about 19 years old. I only lasted about 3 months. I was thinking, this is really hard. 6 days a week. If you don't answer the phone within 3 rings, you're getting a verbal warning. If you're on the phone and then it rings, you have to put them on hold. Going out, viewing back to back. It was hard. I remember thinking, if I worked this hard on my own property business, I'd be a millionaire by the age of 25. So I quit and became a millionaire by the age of 25. What you've done, you were an estate agent in Luton. You've really found your USP because your properties are kind of going a little bit viral on Instagram. You've got a bit of themes going on. They're really popping. Talk to me a little bit about what you've been doing in the property market and how you're really dominating and have ultimately become financially free, left your job in Luton.
When we set out to do service accommodation, we wanted to provide a really good product that's better than the competition, something that's eye-catching, something that's perhaps slightly different to what you normally would see. And I've really focused on like interior design. If you're looking online, you're looking to book a 2-bedroom flat in Luton, when you're looking on Airbnb or booking.com, ours stand out from the crowd, and it's going to be a no-brainer that you choose ours over somebody else's. One of our essays, we had a bit of fun with it. We never set out to, it was a Pink Panther suite. We never set out to have the Pink Panther to begin with, but it kind of just grew and developed from there. We were looking online, looking at different canvas art and artwork, and we saw this Pink Panther one. I thought that looks quite cool, interesting, a bit of pink. And it kind of went from there, really. So we sort of played on that, and we had a few pieces of artwork that are Pink Panther themed. Our main strategy in terms of sort of service accommodation is something eye-catching artwork. We've got media walls, we've got a jukebox in one of them, we've got a foosball table in another one. So just trying to think of different ways to stand out from the crowd and deliver the best possible experience for the guests. In terms of occupancy, it's been amazing. So we're probably a minimum of 85 to 90% occupancy throughout the whole year.
In Luton?
In Luton, I mean...
And it's like been through the winter.
Yeah. One property alone made £1,500 profit. So we've got 5 properties now live. It's only been live as of this month. But as of January, we have 3 live. We made over 4K profit in January.
Incredible.
I don't know, every time there's a poll, like worst towns in the country,
worst place to live.
It's always a top 10.
But another interesting thing about Luton is it's not that far from London, is it? Maybe an hour from London?
Yeah, it was even 45 minutes or half an hour to St Pancras,
Wow. But if you're in St Pancras, which is only half an hour away, the rules are all different.
Yeah.
You've now got the 90-day restrictions, all this stuff. So if you are around that sort of area, potentially looking into Luton is not a bad shout. But I don't know if you saw my post that I put on the Academy WhatsApp group last week, where I was saying there's no such thing as a good deal or a bad deal, a good area, a bad area for investment. It's about being a good entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And really, you've just got to make your area work. And if you navigate through the area, work out the rules, work out the market research, the demands, you can make it work. Pretty much any area, you can make it work. You've just got to stop looking for the unicorn deal and stop looking for the magic gold mine area and make your own gold mine area. And I think that's probably what you've done in Luton. You've found your area, you've worked out who's staying, you've done the demand, you've got a lot of experience in there yourself as an estate agent and everything like that. You've trained, and then you've got this property and turned it into this absolutely outstanding, unique, interesting, and it's just worked. And it's great. It's really inspiring. What's your plan then? Are you planning on scaling that business, or are you thinking, you know what, I've got $4,000 now coming in a month profit, a few more deals I know you've got in the pipeline. Are you going to now start going into something different in property? What's the plan? Yeah, so something you've said a number of times, I remember you said it about 6 months ago, and you said it again recently, is I definitely want to diversify, and I've got plans to do a lot of things. I mean, I've flipped a lot of houses, as we spoke about before, but certainly I want to diversify into HMOs, as well as service accommodation is great, and it's really profitable, and it's very much, you're running a hotel business effectively, so it's very much hands-on. Definitely want to diversify into other strategies. So HMOs is definitely at the forefront of my mind that I want to do this year, but I also want to scale the SA business as well. So I want to also start to help manage other people's SAs and people that have got a property. I can help them with the design, make it really pop and stand out online, and help manage it for them as well. So that's something I'm certainly wanted to continue with and continue to grow, but also as this year goes on, diversify into HMOs and continue flipping houses that I've always done. That's kind of been my bread and butter as an estate agent. In the background, I've always been flipping houses. So I want to continue doing that as well, because I've got a great power team behind me. My father-in-law, he's kind of like the builder behind everything. We work well as a team. Kind of want to do many different strategies. I've sold a few deals as we spoke about as well. But the main focus probably for now is grow the SA management portfolio, diversify into HMOs, and continue flipping, doing BRRs in the background as well. I think it's great. It's a smart plan. Management is also good because there's a lot of people in this market right now in 2024, a lot of landlords that are realising that they're not making profit with just straightforward rents, AST contracts, that they're scrapping Section 21 evictions. And more landlords are either selling up or are thinking, how can I make this profitable? Maybe I could do it on Airbnb, but I don't know how. I don't know how to make the property pop. I don't know how to market it. I don't know. So having a service where you can say, actually, I'll manage it for you. I'll oversee the decoration and the interiors. It's really good. And the profit as well that you get, because the turnover is so much more as a management company, then your profit's more. So
it's interesting you say that. I want to work with landlords, correct? Because I think over the last year or two, their profit's been totally eaten up by the interest rates. My brothers are still working in this agency, and they're forever getting new properties coming to market where it's a landlord that's got a buy to let, making either no money or next to nothing. So they're looking now to sell it, looking to offload it because the profit's gone. So I think there's definitely a gap for me to work with landlords who I can then, get that profit that they once had a couple of years ago. I can get that back for them. They can still have it as a complete hands-off experience where I manage everything for them.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely something that would be a total win-win for myself and for the landlords.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting about your deal sourcing that you've done as well. I know you've not been doing it aggressively.
Yeah.
How much money have you made, or how many deals have you sold in the last year?
I've sold 7 deals, and I've co-deal sourced quite a lot, which I think is a great thing for anyone.
What does that mean?
So co-deal source is working with a more experienced sourcer that's sold deals previously, that also probably has a big list of investors that they're working with, and obviously probably got a bit more credibility because they've been doing it for a bit longer. For me, it was a great learning experience. You can lean on them, and you can do your own due diligence and look into the deal, but also get a second opinion on it from someone who's done it multiple times.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot from that experience. I think a lot of sourcers, they co-deal source a lot of the time anyway. For me, that was a real learning curve. It really helped me. Worked with a number of people that have been on this show with you. And also, there's one thing training with yourself and actually going out and doing it and having the confidence to do it.
When you first start, the first thing that you get good at is finding deals. So you're finding deals, but then you might not necessarily, as you said, have the investor list, have the expertise to be able to sell. You've not been through it. So to partner up with somebody and say, here's a deal, sell it for me and we'll split the profit. It certainly makes sense.
The mistake I made at the beginning was I was looking out, going crazy, looking for deals. But then I get a deal, I'm like, I haven't got an investor.
Yeah.
So I think one of the big mistakes that people perhaps could learn from what I did was concentrate just as much on finding investors than just going out hunting for deals, because you're going to get a deal and then you're going to have no one to sell it to. So that's one mistake I certainly made.
How much have you made from just deal sourcing, straight packaging and selling deals?
About £10,000. And a lot of those deals have been sort of passed to me from agents. And at the time, I already invested into another rent-to-rent. So I would have took it on myself.
Yeah.
But it was, not the right time. So I had attended a lot of networking events. I met a lot of people along the way, and I had some kind of investors as well that I built up over time. But to begin with, I work with co-deal sources who really helped.
Talk to me about the difference between being a deal seller versus being an estate agent. Because a lot of the time, deal sources and estate agents will work together, and there's a lot of confusion between their role. You're like, okay, are you an estate agent then if you're packaging and selling deals? What are the key differences? Because you've obviously done both.
I think certainly as an estate agent, when you're selling houses, I'd say it's a lot easier certainly doing that than it would be to go and find, as in be a deal sourcer for say rent to rent, for example, because you got, a lot of them are warm leads. People are phoning up looking to buy or rent a house. So, they're already sort of half interested in it. When you're deal sourcing, I would say it's a bit tricky. You got to it's a lot of numbers game a lot of time. You're phoning up landlords, you're having to convince them, a bit like when I do my valuations, you're going into landlords, speaking to face and you're convincing them to go with you over your competition. With sourcing deals, I would say it's a little bit more trickier numbers game, speaking to landlords, explaining the benefits to why renting the property to a company would be of benefit to them.
I guess in my mind, what I was sort of thinking is, I guess the estate agent's client is the seller.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're a deal sourcer, your client is the buyer.
That's true, yeah.
So people will sometimes say, why do I need a deal sourcer when I can just go straight to an estate agent or straight to even a letting agent and get my own deals? It's like, no, because if you go to an estate agent, they're trying to get the highest price possible for the seller. Whereas if you go to a deal sourcer, their loyalties are to you. They're trying to get the lowest price possible for you.
Yeah, that's true.
You want someone to,
that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What would you say about fast pound and slow pound? So your background is you've been an estate agent. You've also done some flipping, which is very profitable. How many deals have you flipped? Have you done up and sold?
So I flipped 10 in total.
Wow.
It includes one build as well, a big sort of 4-bed detached house, which we built in Luton. Some of them were large scale, some were small scale, but it was a really good strategy for any estate agent who's out there now working. I think you should be actively looking to try and buy at the same time, because when you first start as an estate agent, the pay isn't massive.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at other ways of trying to generate a second income. And you obviously you're in the industry. Yeah. You've got access to properties, to knowledge of knowing what house prices are worth on particular roads. You can come across some sellers who are looking for a quicker sale. So for me, flipping was kind of always been my bread and butter and something that I really enjoyed. I've got a great power team behind me, which really helped lift the property value. And something I'll definitely continue to do. Yeah. But it's been an excellent strategy for, we'd buy a property for X amount. We'd actually do it all up, move in for a short period of time, and then literally buying something else. And it's such a great strategy. I think it's kind of underrated. I don't think many people actually do it, but I think as an estate agent, especially if you're young, starting out and your pay's not the best, and maybe you can get your parents to help you with a deposit or get some investors to jump on board.
Would you buy properties then that were advertised by your estate agency?
From time to time, they would declare the interest if there's a seller who needed to sell fast. Or, I mean, I bought a lot of bungalows, funny enough, since I started, because a lot of bungalows were very outdated, your typical avocado bathrooms, really dated inside. So I think I bought like 5 bungalows, ones from my own company and a lot of them through other companies, for other estate agents. I'd have friends who I'd work with at my company, and then they go on to work for different estate agents in different locations. But, we're still in contact, we're still friends. And they might say, look, Alex, got this seller here who's looking for a quick sale. Would you be interested? Build up a big pot of equity over time.
And generally, would you buy with a residential mortgage?
Yes.
So you'd buy a property, a bit run down.
Yeah.
With a residential mortgage. So you put down minimum deposit.
Yeah.
You'd live in the house.
Yeah.
Whilst refurbishing it.
Yeah.
Then sell it.
Yeah.
For obviously more than you spent on it.
Yeah.
Make a nice chunk of money.
Go again.
Pay 0 tax.
Yeah.
Because it's your residential property.
Yeah.
And then just go again. So you've just got that going in the background whilst you're doing your estate agency.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah, it works really well. So over time, got to the point where I'd done 8 flips, and then that equity had been built up over time. And then this opportunity came up to sort of this bungalow, this small 2-bed detached bungalow, but on a massive piece of land. So there's clear potential to either build 2 or just like supersize the one that was on that bit of land. So my father-in-law, he remortgages his own property. I pretty much sold all of my properties, moved into a rented accommodation, and then we built this big 4-bed property. The market was really also on our side as well, where the market was on the rise throughout the whole process, and COVID also was around. So things were delayed, but as things were being delayed, the prices were going up and up and up. So we developed that. Again, moved into it for a short while, and then moved out, and then just kept copy and pasting the same thing, which worked well. And then for that equity, I then found yourself and thought, no, this is the time to invest in myself and in education. So again, having that 10-year period where we're just constantly flipping, building houses, getting that equity.
It's a great background, and also I know your father-in-law was like a mentor to you as well. Yeah. So he, from the industry, estate agent. Do you think there's more estate agents out there that are working really hard, but maybe leaving a lot of money on the table by not being a little bit more creative and proactive with different strategies?
100%. After I came to your first pound crash course, and I came back to the office and I was talking to my brothers who worked there and close friends of mine. And I was telling them about rent to HMO, BRR, lease option agreements. They were like, what's all this? Like, they've never even heard of this stuff. I mean, you hear it quite often actually, where people say I went to an estate agents and they talked about lease options or rent to rent. And even my own company, never done company lets. Like, it was kind of like, never really heard of it. Oh, that sounds a bit dodgy. We were just so used to doing, AST contracts over and over again. So I think there's a lot of agents out there that kind of, I like that as well. And also, back onto your point, I think there's a lot of agents that are in my position who's starting off and they're in their early 20s. I think there's a lot of opportunity out there. You've got the knowledge. You can speak to other agents, get friendly with them, see if they can potentially get you a good deal where someone's motivated to sell and they've got a property that's really run down. And, if you really go networking, it's something I've only just done recently, networking. I've never done networking before until like the last 12 months. I wish I would have started earlier, but I see now when I go to these networking events, young people like, in their early 20s, even less than 20, I'm thinking fair play, like you're in the right room. I wish I'd started earlier. So definitely for if I could give any advice to any estate agents, start networking. If you haven't got the money to start yourself, try and find some investors who can jump on board. Because if you get a good deal, there's definitely going to be investors who are going to be willing to invest into you and into that deal. Yeah.
What would you say has been some of the biggest learning points then over the last year of transitioning into completely, and now you're full-time property investor, property entrepreneur, no job to have to go to, but now you got, a business to run. What have been the key lessons, would you say, that you've learned over the last 12 months?
Managing my time. And I think my organization has improved over time. But if you look back, over 10 years ago, I was pretty disorganized, if I'm being totally honest. And it's still a work in progress, but managing my time, structuring my day is, like I say, it's still something that I'm continuously having to think about and work on. But I would say that's probably been one of the biggest challenges is that finding the time and working at 9 to 5. I had a very comfortable job. I was, managing the office. I was doing 2 or 3 valuations a day. I was getting pretty well paid to do it. Coming out of that comfort zone, going from a good income down to zero was like a big, a lot of people wouldn't probably do it that way. There's probably smarter ways. Some people want to build up the rent to rent slowly.
Oh, did you just quit your job?
For me, it was like, I got the connections. I'm in a estate agency. I got the equity behind me because I built that over time with building the house and those flips. So I had a bit of time in my hands where I could invest into the rent to rents, make them really nice, but I had some money a buffer to live off. Hence why I just went, let's go all in, let's do it. So I backed myself. I believe that I could get some rent to rents pretty quickly from the back of people that I know of. Mm-hmm. And I've been in the industry 13 years. People have come and gone, but I stayed in this agency, working at different branches, different towns, different cities. So I thought, do you know what? I truly believe this can work. And it has worked. So I think going from a nice, comfortable income to zero was like, wow, this has to work. That pressure is also in some sense is good. You can't sit around and you got to be up every day. You got to want it every day. Weekends now are looking after the kids or it's work again. So, but I enjoy it a lot more now because it got to that point in my job where I love the place. I'm very close to the company I used to work for, but it was the same 4 walls. It was same sort of people, very comfortable, but I needed to get out of that. And after going to one of your pound crash courses and talking about the comfort zone, and I was like, then that really resonated with me. I was like, wow, I've been in that comfort zone for quite some time now. And I need to step out of it.
What did your friends and everybody think or your work colleagues when you just quit and said, I'm going to be full-time doing my own thing?
I think there was definitely some doubt from people. I don't think they necessarily said it to my face, but you get that feeling that people think, are you making the right decision? Are you sure? I think most people would.
Yeah, they care about you. They don't want to see you, struggle or it all go wrong, especially when you do what you did and just quit without any deals.
Yeah.
Hey, I know you got friends now even joining the academy.
Yeah. 2 of my friends joined the academy. They absolutely love it. The funny thing is his name's Rob. He was both myself and him were the 2 managers of the same the branch. There's a few branches, and as time went on and everything's more online now, and the company kind of realized we don't need to have all these branches. We could work from just like one office, have everyone working in the same branch. So I was managing one office. He managed that particular office. We then combined into one, and we've been very close for many, many years. And I was explaining to him all the strategies and things that I'd learned, and he was like, wow, this is like, it's a whole new world to me as well. He, again, went down the same kind of path and went to the pound crash course and saw that there's a real future. And he does rent to rent at the moment as well.
Nice.
But yeah, for him, he absolutely loves it. Best thing that he ever done. And for me as well, having him join has been really good because we're on the phone like every day.
Yeah.
And it's like nice to have someone that's that close to you that you can enjoy the really good things, but also sometimes there's struggles and things you want to talk about. It's great to have that person to talk to about it. He really appreciates any advice I've given him along the way. He's now already picked up free rent to rents in a pretty short space of time. And yeah, so it's been really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, no.
And also for, just being so positive. And I know you've helped a lot of people that are just getting started in their property journey on the academy, and you've given them advice. So what's the best way to get in touch if people want to reach out to you, or if they want to check out some of your wonderful service departments? Where's the best way to connect?
So I would say Instagram is definitely the best place. So yeah, send me a DM on Instagram.
Or leave your details in the description. And bro, thanks so much for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for the invitation, Samuel. Yeah, cheers.